matters today. So as Vice Chair, I'll be chairing the meeting today. Is there any additions to the agenda? Motion to accept.
So moved.
All in favor? Carried. And adoption of the minutes, November 13th, 2018 MPC meeting.
So moved.
Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. And we'll move on to development permit applications. File number DP 2017-167. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, and hello, MPC. I have a development permit time extension request for DP 2017-167. For the time extension, it's an extension to the construction commencement deadline. Typically, within our land use bylaw, we state it as 1 year from the date that the permit was issued. And so they are requesting an extra 8 months for this. Location is at the Lakes of Muirfield, which is the Direct Control 7, and the specific legal location is Plan 071-0284, Block 92. Recommendation from staff is that MPC choose option 1 to approve the time extension of 8 months for DP 2017-167 from the 12-month deadline of December 27th, 2018. So in a couple weeks, it would be coming up to start commencement. So option 1 is to approve the time extension with the motion for the time extension of 8 months, which would go till August 27th, 2019. So just a bit of background. So the applicant was issued a permit on December 27th, 2017 for a single-family dwelling, permitted as a dwelling single detached in the Lakes of Muirfield in Direct Control District 7. The applicant reached out to staff on October 19th, 2018 to request a time extension to commence construction. Development permits within the county are granted 12 months to commence construction on issued permits. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, the applicant was unable to commence construction within the allotted time frame. As per the land use bylaw, section 3.3, development permits that have been decided by MPC are to be brought back to the deciding body for the time extension. As previously mentioned, the request is for 8 months, and that would allow them to begin construction in the spring and finish in the late summer. Following this time extension, the 24 months granted for finishing the development will still apply on the original issue date of December 27th, 2017. Therefore, the applicant would have until December 27th, 2019 to actually complete the construction. So this is strictly just to get commenced and started on it. They still have to meet that final finishing date of next December to complete the development permit and meet those requirements. Relevant policy is section 3.3, section 4.9 of the land use bylaw. And as previously mentioned, staff is recommending option 1 to approve the time extension of 8 months. However, MPC does have 3 options. Option 1 is to approve the 8-month time extension. Option 2 is to refuse the 8-month time extension. And option 3 is that the Municipal Planning Commission may provide an alternative recommendation. So with that being said, I'm just going to pop up the actual development permit so that MPC can take a look if they have any concerns about it. And that's everything for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions? MPC's wishes. Donna?
I'll move option 1 that we approve the 8-month time extension requested.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. And development permit DP 2017-114.
Good morning,
Sorry,
Ms.
that's different than what's on my menu here. We've already done the Rosebud one. I think we should be on the Lakes of Muirfield one. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, and good morning, MPC. I will be presenting the request for a second extension to the 6 months for development permit 2017-114 located at northwest of 727-21-4 in Rosebud. It's for the symbiotic septic treatment. Staff is recommending that MPC choose option 1 to approve a second extension of 6 months for the development permit DP 2017-114, extending the expiry date to April 30th, 2019. Symbiotic Envirotech Inc. received approval for DP 2017-114 by Council on October 10th, 2017, to install a temporary algae wastewater treatment facility within the hamlet of Rosebud. This is a temporary pilot project with the development permit originally expiring on July 31st, 2018. They applied for and received a 3-month extension on August 21st, 2018, updating the new expiry to October 31st, 2018. The applicant is requesting a second extension and did apply prior to the development permit expiring. Symbiotic has requested an extension to December 31st, an additional 2 months. However, staff is recommending an extension to be granted to April 30th, 6 months, to accommodate their second request to store the decommissioned equipment on site until the end of April 2019. The relevant policy is the Land Use Bylaw Section 3.3.2M. Though staff is recommending option 1, MPC has 3 options they can choose from. So the first option is to approve a 6-month extension to development permit DP 2017-114 to expire on April 30th, 2019, based on the following: that the additional time will allow Symbiotic to conduct more run cycles to determine if the NRC supply technology will offer a solution for putrefaction of the additive prior to the algae cultivation process, and it will allow Symbiotic to keep the decommissioned equipment on site for them to move in the spring. Option 2 is to refuse the request for a second extension to development permit DP 2017-114 based on the following: that they have already received an extension. And option 3 is for MPC to approve an alternative recommendation. And this is their letter requesting, and they gave us a presentation which was included in the package explaining where they were so far and how close they are to finishing their run cycles. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Tom?
Just a question, who's paying for the utilities at this stage?
At this stage, the county has put in utility costs into the budget, and so we're paying for that as part of the pilot.
So we've given them enough, we've given them the original. So, and our budget is, I'm sort of thinking that there's no problem with the extension, but they're going to be they're running more tests now. And we should maybe be thinking that they should be picking up the utilities on this test, because we're not going to be using this, we're not using this process going forward. So my thoughts.
What was in the original deal for the utilities?
Yeah, so the original arrangement for the pilot project is we contributed the cost of getting the land prepared, bringing in the rig mats for the system, hooking up temporary power and supplying the power, and I think there was a couple other ancillary items that we had in there as part of the pilot project. So.
Okay. Any other discussion? Or? Amber?
In Mr. Dean's letter, it says that the pilot's wrapping up at the end of December, so I think I would be okay with covering like the expenses for that, or that interim, because it's it's relatively short. It's a couple of weeks away. And I think it makes sense to remove it in the spring.
So they're going to decommission this equipment in the spring. Do we need utilities there from December till April or May, whenever spring is in this country?
There would probably need to be some lighting of the site, just for security reasons, so the power consumption would be reduced quite dramatically after December 31st. But yes, there would be some utility costs up till April.
Any other discussion? I'm thinking power consumption was quite high during the testing for just kind of, I hate to say mothballing, but to shut it down for the spring, the consumption should go down dramatically. I don't think they would require the high heat that's in there. I'm thinking just minimal heat, and for security and lights and stuff. I'm thinking, for me, I would just leave it alone and pay the utilities till we get it done. We had yeah, for me, but whatever board wishes. Go ahead, Al.
Just one further thing on the rig mats. We purchased the rig mats rather than leasing them because we can use them on other job sites, just so you know, so it's not a lost cause, but on that component.
Yeah. There was a holdup too with their testing. There was, it's a long story, but they used the effluent from Galician to test it out, so that took a few more runs to make sure their process was working. And if you look in the thing, their water quality is extremely high. It's almost good enough to put in the irrigation water. But yeah. Is there any other comments, questions? Okay, I'll move for the 6-month extension to development permit 2007 DP 2017-114 to expire on April 30th. Any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. I voted in favor. I wasn't sure where your pen was up or down. It's carried unanimously. File number DP 2018-140.
DP 2018-140. The purpose of this application is to place an accessory building, a mobile trailer for storage, prior to the primary structure, the dwelling, being constructed. This is on the northwest of 2225, 25 west of the 4th, Plan 1312875, Block 1, Lot 1. The staff recommendation is that MPC choose option 2 to refuse DP 2018-140 to place an accessory building, the mobile home for storage, prior to the primary structure of the dwelling being constructed, located on Plan 1312975, Block 1, Lot 1. The reason is the variance request contravenes the definition for accessory building and does not meet the intent of the land use bylaw. The background, DP 2018-34 was issued on April 2018 for a new ready-to-move home and a 30 by 30 shop. In June, the landowners reached out to staff to inform them they would be unable to move the approved RTM onto the property, and they would like to place a temporary mobile home and build a truss storage building, also temporary. They informed, the applicants were informed they would need to apply for a new development permit as the proposed development did not match what was originally approved in the DP 2018-034, and that the trailer would need to have A277 certification to be habitable. The building was later not to have the certification. The county's land use bylaw states that manufactured and modular dwellings must conform to CSA A277 certified standards at time of manufacture. Without the certification, the building cannot be used for habitation. In September, staff performed a site visit and found the landowners had already moved the trailer onto the lot. Staff contacted the landowners and informed them they would need to apply for a development permit and that the application would be twice the cost. The landowners responded stating that they were using the trailer for storage and that they were planning to proceed with the RTM from the original permit. Staff explained a storage building would need a development permit for an accessory structure and that they would need to prove the trailer was inhabitable by taking photos of the inside, showing that it was only suitable for storage. The photos show that, pardon me, they are storing their belongings, not that the building is only suitable for storage. For the building to only be suitable for storage, it would need to be completely gutted. No bathroom fixtures, no kitchen fixtures, etc. The application with the requested information was received early October. The county's land use bylaw defines accessory building structures as subordinate to a principal building. Without a principal building, accessory building structures are not permitted. Staff asked the landowner to contact them to discuss the matter and timeline for removal. The landowner asked for information on other types of structures, such as sea cans, and whether they are considered accessory buildings and structures, and they are. The landowners reached out to staff mid-October, summarizing what had been done up to that point, attached the development permit application, which was previously submitted, and asked further questions. Staff reiterated that an accessory building is not permitted without the principal building, and that the trailer could not be used as a dwelling, as it didn't have the A277 certificate, and that there is a $5,000 refundable deposit for moved-on buildings. Staff explained that as the development permit application contravenes the land use bylaw, they would be refusing the application unless the landowner wished to go to MPC. The landowner expressed they would like the application to go to MPC for the used trailer and to build the shop before building the principal use. Staff was unable to determine if the application was deemed complete within the 20-day time limit. Therefore, Section 6H3.14 of the MGA automatically deems the application complete. Staff would like to note that the development permit application submitted only requests putting the mobile home trailer on the lot for storage and does not request constructing the shop prior to the dwelling, as their email notes. The site plan is also insufficient as it shows the shop and the dwelling, neither of which are part of the current application. The parcel is zoned Country Residential District, the purpose and intent of which is to provide for acreage development for predominantly residential purposes. That is aligned with the policies of the MDP. If the parcel was zoned Agricultural General District, placing an accessory building prior to the dwelling would be considered, as the principal use in ag is generally, generally the agricultural operation of that parcel. The landowner is requesting a variance to allow their accessory building be permitted on the parcel prior to the principal building being constructed. This would be a variance to the county's definition of accessory building/structure. The county's land use bylaw defines variance as a relaxation of the requirements or regulation of this bylaw in accordance with this bylaw and the Act. This definition does not include a relaxation of definitions. Further to that, Section 4.3, variances of the county's land use bylaw, only speaks to variances in excess of 10% of any numerical rules or regulations, not to textual variances. 4.3.1 reads, upon receipt of an application for any development for which a variance exceeds 10% of any numerical rules and regulations of this bylaw, the development officer shall refer the application to the MPC for a decision. The county's land use bylaw the county's land use bylaw defines accessory buildings as a detached building structure, the use of which is incidental or subordinate to the use of the principal building, which is located on the same parcel, but in no instance shall be used as a temporary or permanent dwelling unit. If the proposed accessory building is the sole building on a parcel for Country Residential District, it cannot be considered incidental or subordinate. Section 7.3 gives general regulations to accessory buildings/structures. 7.3.6 specifically states, all accessory buildings shall be of a design and finish which will complement the existing buildings. An accessory building is accepted to complement the primary structure. Without the primary structure being built, it automatically contravenes this regulation. The landowner would need to apply to amend the definition of an accessory building/structure in order to permit their storage unit prior to the dwelling being constructed. The relevant policies are in the land use bylaw, Part 2, the definitions, 3.2, development authority, and 4.3, variances. Though staff is recommending to refuse, MPC has 3 options before them. To approve DP 2018-40 with the variances, allowing them to place an accessory building, the mobile trailer for storage, prior to the primary structure, the dwelling, being constructed. To refuse the application with reasons given, And option 3 is to provide an alternative recommendation of MPC's choosing. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns?
I have a question. So just for clarification, the reason it can't be used as a dwelling is because it doesn't have the A277 certificate?
That is correct.
But there are houses there is mobile trailers, dwellings in the county that don't have that certificate as they were moved on prior to that, and people are living in them?
That would be my assumption, but I can't confirm 100%.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I struggle with this all the time because you have people that are doing everything within their power to do this correctly. I mean, part of this is because I'm old, and I understand how my parents struggled when they first came out to the piece of property I live on here. I mean, if any of these rules were in place, there was no way that my folks, like, they moved into a little bit of a shack that was 400 square feet that was not livable in any stretch of the imagination, but they made things better as they went along. I don't know. I don't know how you is there malice here? Is there intent to do something? It seems that they are doing everything in their power to do this correctly. And through unforeseen circumstances, plan A has gone down the drain, so they're working on plan B. Pretty sure that if they would have left the wheels underneath this trailer, there would not be any discussion, because I've got all sorts of in my area where I just have trailers out there that are just being lived in year-round on a piece of property, and there seems to be a pretty good structural building that they're using as a storage shop, and I don't know if the county knows about them. Not really up to us to know about them. So I'm, as much as I hate going against the planning board, I like this. I like to see people, when they struggle, come up with another alternative and all that kind of stuff. So I'm willing to give the variance. So.
Any other questions, comments? Sorry, Ben, I can't.
Storage.
No, we don't. Okay.
To the staff, is it being used to live in, or is it strictly storage?
Through
Yeah,
the chair.
I looked at the pictures, but that doesn't mean they can't live in it. Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Is there a time limit on the variance? Do we want to put a time limit on it, or a condition? I'm thinking that's maybe going to go that way.
Debating to have one of my rants or not.
Any other comments, questions?
I guess my only comment would be that there's rationale for the land use bylaw and for the provisions in it, like defining different structures and the order of them going on. I'm not comfortable, because this doesn't meet the definition of an actual variance. I'm not sure that I can support the application.
Any other comments? MPC's wishes. Donna?
I just want to question, can there be a time limit on this variance? Is that allowed?
Through the chair, so typically on a development permit, as it was with the one that I had presented prior, there's 12 months to commence construction if construction is required and 24 months to finish it if it is required. In this case, if I'm understanding correctly, the variance is to allow for the moved-on dwelling to be used as an accessory structure as an accessory structure for storage before the primary dwelling is actually built and or moved on. So in this case, if there is any requirements for that accessory structure being used as storage to do any, superficial improvements through a deposit, usually we request one. I'm not sure if that was applied for in this case. Then there would be, the 12 months to commence the skirting of the building, et cetera, to make it look visually and aesthetically appealing onto the property. We do try to ensure that typically with moved on and manufactured dwellings. So there is that timeline. However, if MPC decides to move forward with approval of this, they can add conditions that request a timeline. That is possible, but that's at the discretion of MPC. Otherwise, there is the 12-month to commence and 24 months to finish construction and or improvements.
Okay.
Just to go back to my first question, there are already dwellings, and I understand this is a storage unit, proposed storage unit. But I believe the first Plan A was to be used as a dwelling. No? Not at all.
Please, we've adopted a new policy for everyone's information that MPC is just the board that discusses. Okay, that's
Okay, then I will just make the motion that staff recommends, that MPC approve variance to DP 2018-140 to allow the building as an accessory storage building.
Any discussion or questions?
Just one more comment. I just want to draw MPC's attention to page 31 under variances, where proposed development should not unduly interfere with the amenities of a neighborhood, materially interfere with or affect the use, enjoyment, or value of neighboring parcels of land, and the proposed development conforms with a similar use prescribed for that land or building in this bylaw. I just want MPC to consider whether this variance could materially affect the use, enjoyment, or value of neighboring parcels of land.
Any other questions or comments? Not seeing any. Go ahead, Tom.
I wouldn't mind seeing that there being a time limit on bringing this, like, so from 1 year from today or 12 months. And,
I'll accept the amendment.
so if we could amendment so that the cladding and all that kind of stuff be in it to 12 months, I'd go for that.
You accept that?
Yep.
Okay, any other comments?
I'm not totally clear on what the timeline encompasses, just so that I'm clear. I'm not trying to be a pain. I'm not exactly sure, because we're approving it as an accessory building, so that would be permanent.
Right. I do not know how this came about, so I'm going to give you what I think happened. I think people had Plan A, which was to bring a ready-to-move project onto the house, which is what the development permit was. Plan A fell through, so they found this trailer that was probably somewhere in the county of Wheatland that was being lived in. And they moved it and they were going to move into this place, probably temporarily. And then this happened. So now they've got a trailer that they paid for on a piece of property, and now they have to do something with it. So right or wrong, I don't know. Like, this is, it's not the perfect, it is not the perfect storage building. I understand that. But sort of, I don't know, we're going to cause them more problems. They're going to move this trailer out. They're going to have to find somebody to buy it. It's going to be a pain. I don't like this job some days. Yeah, no, so that's sort of what I'm thinking. This is less than perfect, but this world is less than perfect. I just don't want to throw this, people are trying, and I want to encourage people as much as I can. So even though this is like I said, if they would have left the wheels underneath it, we would have been okay. So anyways.
Okay. Any other comments? Donna?
I do worry about the sightliness of it. And what do we want our county to look like in the future if we keep doing variances? But I do understand where you're coming from.
Go ahead.
Through the chair, I have prepared some conditions for MPC to consider if they did decide to approve, if you wanted to hear them.
We can have approves, Adam, for sure.
Okay. So one of the conditions was to have the refundable deposit instead of $5,000 to $1,000. And this is similar to the windmill that was approved in Rosebud, where the deposit was only $1,000 versus the $5,000. And then one of the other conditions is that it's not to be used as a dwelling. And that was sort of the two conditions.
Okay, thanks. Any other comments, questions? Just two comments. As an accessory building, I would have preferred to have it a visual of what it's going to look like in the future. Like, that looks like an old trailer to me, or a smaller. So when I made the comment of a time frame, my time frame was to have it gone, moved off. It doesn't fit with the property, with our land use bylaw. And my second comment is that our decisions here are appealable, and they can go to the appeal board. And if that's the case, if the applicant wishes to make an appeal, he can change up his application a little bit on comments that we have here, and present it to the appeal board. The appeal board is quasi-judicial. They're the final say, irregardless. So we have a motion on the floor that we allow the variance with a 1-year time limit. Was that right? Okay, any other questions? All in favor? Opposed? How are you voting?
I voted in favor.
I'm sorry, I was looking the wrong way. So let's go in favor again. 3 unopposed. Tie vote, the motion is lost. And we'll move on to development permit DP 2018-140. Whenever you're ready. No, we've done that one. I'm sorry, my glasses have got me. They're crooked. Subdivision applications, SD 2018-021.
I can read it out for you if you want.
I will let you do that. I look up there and it's just down. Go ahead, please. I stepped on my good ones the other day. These are new glasses.
This application is to subdivide plus or minus 3.55 acre parcel from the titled land northwest of 6, 22, 25, west of the 4th. The subject property is at the intersection of Highway 23 and Range Road 260, 500 meters south of the hamlet of Carsland. Staff is recommending that the MPC choose option 1 to approve the subdivision application 2018-021 with the conditions noted in Appendix A of the planning report. So the background of this subdivision application, the redesignation application was given third reading on September 18th in 2018, changing the use from public utility to community service district. This parcel is for the future site of the Carsland Fire Hall. Currently, the parcel contains the Carsland Sewage Lagoon and a solid waste transfer station. Some policy review. The South Saskatchewan Regional Plan, the proposed subdivision aligns with the objectives and strategies of the SSRP. As the subdivision is on a property previously zoned public utility, it isn't fragmenting agricultural land. As for Section 8, community development, it is building up the physical infrastructure for Carsland, accommodating future population growth and accompanying community development needs. It appropriately mixes uses in this quarter section. There is a solid waste transfer site directly south of the proposed subdivision and a sewage lagoon to the northeast, both in the same quarter section. In the regional growth management strategy, the subdivision aligns with the county's RGMS by supporting emergency services development for an identified growth node. The Carsland Fire Hall provides fire service to Carsland, Speargrass, and the surrounding areas, including the proposed Goldfinch area structure plan. It doesn't conflict with the current land uses, which are a waste transfer site and a sewage lagoon, nor does it conflict with the adjacent agricultural lands. The proposed subdivision aligns with the county's MDP, specifically Section 3.15, Health and Safety. The objectives of this section include maintaining and improving the level of emergency services throughout the county, providing emergency services throughout the county, and encouraging developments to locate in relation to existing emergency services. The proposed subdivision is for the future development of Carsland's Fire Hall and meets all of the aforementioned objectives. The proposed subdivision also aligns with the policies and objectives of Section 3.2 natural areas. There were wetlands and a watercourse running through the parent parcel, which the proposed subdivision is set back from, avoiding encroachment on the natural areas. The proposed property was redesignated from public utility to community service on September 18th, 2018. In the Land Use Bylaw 2016-01, a fire station would fall under the essential public service, which is a permitted use in the community service district. All rules and regulations of the community service district will be required for applications within the proposed subdivision. The technical review, the access, it doesn't have an existing access. If approved, the approach will need to be built to Wheatland County specs. The construction of an access of Range Road 260 would be a condition of the subdivision approval. Carsland is serviced with water, and as such, their water lines would be extended to service the fire hall, as well as the sanitary lines. The subject property and proposed subdivision are titled to the county. Taking municipal reserve is not necessary. The proposal was circulated to all landowners within a mile radius of the subject lands, and no letters were received. The comments it received from external circulation, AHS, we received no comments from several agencies. Alberta Health Services had no concerns. Alberta Transportation acknowledged that we would be within the buffer of their highway, but they have no objection at this time. And Terra Energy has several right-of-ways throughout the property. They recently filed for bankruptcy. A letter was sent to the address on the title and was rejected. Staff sent the application information to PricewaterhouseCoopers Inc., the named trustee. The only response we received was that Entera's assets had been sold or disclaimed. The only comment we received from internal circulations were that the structure proposed ensure they maintain a 300-meter setback from the sewage lagoons. There are two possible options for MPC to consider. So there's option 1, that subdivision application 2018-21 be approved with the conditions noted in Appendix A. based on the fact that the stated conditions of approval, the subdivision authority has determined that the proposed subdivision complies with the county's land use bylaw rules and regulations and the MDP. The subdivision authority is satisfied that the proposed subdivision with the stated conditions is suitable for the purpose for which the subdivision is intended pursuant to Section 7 of the Subdivision and Development Regulation of the MGA. The subdivision could also be refused. Staff is recommending option 1 for approval. And Appendix A shows the conditions. So the subdivision is to be affected by a plan of survey. Outstanding taxes are to be paid. That the approaches are to be built to county standards. That they're to enter into a deferred services agreement, an agreement for easement for conditions and maintenance, and to enter into a road acquisition agreement. This is the location of it, just south of Carsland there. This is the area plan, and you can see all of the right-of-ways that it avoids. And this shows the water course, including the 30-meter buffer and some wetlands in the area that it is set back from. This is the circulation map. And that is everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, comments, concerns? MPC's wishes. Donna?
I move that subdivision 2018-021 to subdivide 3.55 acre parcel from the titled area be approved.
Okay, any questions? All in favor? Carried. I seen it that time. Thank you. And I'm crossing it off so I don't read it again. And we'll move to 3.2, file number SD 2018-015.
Okay, so this is a subdivision application to subdivide out approximately 8.68 acres from the parcel, 8.68 parcel from the titled land, my apologies. It's located on the Northwest 32423, adjacent to Range Road 233 and approximately 6 kilometers southeast of the town of Strathmore. Staff is recommending that MPC choose option 1 to approve subdivision application SD 2018-015 with the conditions noted in Appendix A of the planning report. So I'm just going to go down to the plan area so that you can see visually what is being proposed. So this is the location map, as previously mentioned, it's southeast of Strathmore and directly east of Eagle Lake. Zoom out. So it's the area in yellow that is proposed for subdivision, and as previously mentioned, it's about 8.68 acres in size. The parcel itself contains an existing dwelling with a number of accessory structures for use for agricultural purposes and for the dwelling on site. Relevant policy is the SSRP for agriculture and efficient land use, RGMS section 4.3 for agriculture and community development, as well as NDP policies for agriculture, residential development, and servicing. Land use bylaw 2016-01 has the relevant section of 9.1 for agricultural general. So with the parcel size and intended use, staff was not recommending redesignation to country residential. The applicant also did not express interest in doing so, and because the parcel itself, it falls into that gray area between country residential and agricultural general, we felt that sticking with agricultural general designation would be appropriate based off of the size as well as the continued use of the parcel itself for agricultural purposes with storage and operations. The remnant parcel itself is currently cultivated, and the area around it would continue to be done as such with the proposed area for subdivision. With regards to circulation, adjacent landowners within 1 mile were circulated, and one email of support was received, and it is in the package there. Otherwise, no letters of objection or other letters of support were received. The applicant did as well submit a letter explaining their intent and the continued function of the remnant parcel for agricultural operations and the ability to continue operating around some of the areas with the proposed area for subdivision. Otherwise, external agencies did not provide any objections or major comments with regards to the application, and internal file review as well did not produce any comments or concerns. Therefore, as previously mentioned, staff is recommending option 1 for approval with the reasons noted. It meets the underlying goals and outcomes of the SSRP for agriculture, efficient land use, and community development, meets the goals of the RGMS for agriculture and community development, as well as the MDP policies for agriculture, servicing, and residential development, and it meets the rules and regulations of the Agricultural General District of the Land Use Bylaw. With that being said, MPC does have 2 options. Option 1 is to approve SD 2017-15 or to refuse the application. If MPC chooses approval, these are the conditions noted for the approval. We have the standard conditions for a plan of survey as well as outstanding taxes. The parcel itself was applicable for municipal reserve. An appraisal report was prepared and the estimated amount is noted. However, it will be determined with a final plan of survey to calculate the exact cost. As well, the approaches would need to be inspected and ensured they meet county standards, a deferred services agreement, easement for construction and maintenance of public works, and a road acquisition agreement are also on here as a condition. And that's everything for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions or concerns? Go ahead, Amber.
I'll move that we approve subdivision application SD 2018-015 with the conditions noted in Appendix A of the planning report.
Any questions?
No, I don't have a question.
All in favor? Carried. Thank you. And file number SD 2018-019.
So for SD 2018-019, it's an application to subdivide 3.55 acres from the titled land. It's located on the Northwest 282426, adjacent to Range Road 264, and approximately 5 kilometers southeast of the hamlet of Lialta. Staff is recommending to MPC to choose option 1 to approve subdivision application. Oops, there's a typo in there. SD 2018-019 with the conditions noted in Appendix A of the planning report. So again, I'm going to scroll down here to the site plan to provide clarity on what is being proposed. So this application came into council as a redesignation application to country residential, which was given 3rd and final reading on May 15th, 2018. The portion proposed for subdivision follows with the previous area redesignated for CR and currently has an existing homestead and is used as a residential parcel. It is intended to be maintained and continue to function as one with no new development proposed within the 3.55 acres. The relevant policy includes the SSRP for agriculture, community development, and efficient land use, RGMS section 4.3, as well as the NDP policies for agriculture, residential development, and utilities. It also aligns with the intents and purposes of the Country Residential District, section 9.3 of the Land Use Bylaw. Circulation was done to adjacent landowners prior to the application coming to MPC, and no letters were received in either support or objection of the proposed. Comments from agencies, produced one from Alberta Health Services. However, there were no major concerns, just their standard comments to ensure property boundaries and septic and water wells are contained within them. Otherwise, the rest were provided no comment or concerns. Internal transportation and development wanted to ensure the approaches were inspected, that a new one to the parent parcel would be required, and then a road widening and acquisition agreement and a deferred services agreement would be required as a condition. As these are pretty standard conditions, these have been included as part of the Appendix A of the report. Otherwise, no other comments from internal circulation were provided. And with that being said, staff is in support of this application and recommends option 1 for approval, as it complies with the county's statutory and guiding documents, which align with the strategies and outcomes of the SSRP, aligns with the goals and objectives for agriculture and community development as per the RGMS, as well as sections 3.1, 3.6, 3.1 of the MDP, and aligns with the rules and regulations of the country residential district of the land use bylaw. So going up to the conditions here. Very similar to the previous application in that plan of survey is required. All taxes have to be paid up to date on the property, and a municipal reserve is applicable in this case. It was calculated using an appraisal report. However, the final amount will be provided once a plan of survey is submitted. As well as noted here, as per the transportation comments, it approaches to the proposed and remainder. They've received a preliminary inspection and given approval by Public Works, and any upgrades are to be covered by the owners at their expense and to be signed off. With that in mind as well, transportation also requested a deferred services agreement for easement of construction and maintenance of any public works, and a road acquisition agreement, which again are all quite standard on subdivisions unless they are already placed on there through a previous application. In this case, they were not on title. That's everything for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns?
I'll move that MPC approve subdivision application SD 2018-019 with the conditions noted.
Any questions?
Yeah, I do have
Okay.
a comment. This will be the 4th subdivision on 1 quarter. So therefore, right now there's 4 houses on it, and 80 acres or more, you can have 2 houses on it as permitted. So we could have 6 houses on this road without utilities. I don't fully agree with that. But that's my only comment.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, sorry, there is one more. We already, yeah, I know, I only had one comment. We do have 2, by the looks of it, undeveloped subdivisions there as well, for whatever reason. So there is that as well.
Okay. Any other comments?
No,
No.
that's it for me.
No other comments? We have a motion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Any other planning matters? Ben?
Yeah, I didn't want to bring it up while it was on the table, but if we go back to 3.2, the subdivision 2018-015, and those 2 letters of that were in agreement with the subdivision, and I've mentioned it before and it's still bothering me. Why are we going into FOIP for these? Isn't that a public record? And we're FOIPing these letters.
Go ahead, Alan.
Mr. Chairman, FOIP states that you can only have 1 or 2 identifying items in a letter that's provided. You can't have more than that. So the legal land location is identified, and that's fine. You can find that out no matter what, but FOIP says we need to protect the interests and the privacy of the individual. So it's the way FOIP's set up. It's the way it's set up. So. No, I don't agree with it either, Ben, because there's another flip side to that too, is that it used to be that we could protect everybody's interests. Now, if somebody requests it, we have to give them the information. We can't provide any or hold back on anything, right? So there's 2 sides to it. There's one that protects it if somebody requests it, but there's also that we have to provide it. It's a legal mandate for any government organization. So it's just the way it is.
Government's doing that too.
Okay. Any other questions, comments? Seeing any, we can,
I'll move to adjourn.
all in favor? Thank you.